But I definitely think that we're going to see some of those price declines this spring. And I think in 25, we're going to see a significant price drop, in my opinion.
Hey, today I'm sharing 2025 housing market predictions from Melody Wright and Fox News. According to Melody, home prices will start to crash next spring and continue to fall all next year. I will also show you 2 indicators that you can watch in your local housing market to predict where home prices may go as we head through 2025. Hey, welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, my name is Jason. I'm a realtor and investor. For the last 7 years, I've helped people buy and sell real estate just outside of Columbus, Ohio. And I own rentals, I flip homes, I even own some Airbnbs, so I know something about real estate. And I was super intrigued when I heard what Melody had to say about the 2025 housing market. But I'm really curious what you have to say. Please comment below. Is Melody right or is Melody wrong? Before we hear what Melody had to say on Fox News, we're going to take a quick look at where home prices are right now. I want you to pay particular attention to 2011 and 2012. And where home prices have traveled since that period of time. So as you can see here on the chart, this is from the National Association of Realtors. The median home price was about $175,000 back in 2011. And then you can see what happened to the median sale price after the great financial crisis. Now, the median home price is over $350,000. So it went from about $175,000 in 2011, right when we were coming out of the GFC, to now $364,000. So it's clear that home prices have continued to rise over the last decade, and it's quite frankly become unsustainable for the home price growth that we've seen, especially in the last few years. But you really need to pay attention to what's been happening since 2011. Home prices have steadily gone up. So now we're going to take a moment and listen to what Melody Wright has to say about next year's housing market. Hey, and if you don't know who Melody Wright is, you definitely should. She has a YouTube channel, the link's in my description below, and she is somewhat of an expert when it comes to mortgages and the lending industry. And in this first clip, she's going to talk about home prices and demand.
Melody, what are buyers waiting for? I mean, I know obviously some people assume the rates are going to get lower, but there have to be people who've been champing at the bit, wanting to own a house. And this first opportunity, they didn't take the bait.
Right. They are waiting for lower prices, Charles. They cannot afford these prices. And they're a little mad, with what's going on with the bidding wars and things like that. And so until prices come down, I do not believe we'll see the demand.
I read an article that in Canada, prices are going to take a decade to normalize because they got so inflated. Now, we weren't as inflated as Canada, but I mean, people are waiting on prices. They could be waiting. It depends on unless you're one of these really overbuilt markets, you might be waiting a long time.
You could be, but I definitely think that we're going to see some of those price declines this spring. And I think in 25, we're going to see a significant price drop, in my opinion.
And next year?
Yeah, 2025.
So hang in there.
Hang in there. I'm not saying that'll be the bottom, but I do think that's when all of the headwinds facing housing are going to arrive and will impact pricing.
So it's clear that Melody thinks home prices will drop next year. And she's saying because of demand, she's saying the demand is not going to come back until home prices actually drop. So keep that in mind. 2 things drive prices: supply and demand. So according to Melody, demand is not going to return until home prices drop. Now, as a side note, I've actually heard her on other YouTube channels talk about price declines over the next couple of years, and she's predicting that we'll see a 12% decline over the next 12, 18 months when it comes to home prices. And she actually predicted that we would see a drop of 5% in 2024. As you saw from the chart earlier, that hasn't happened. So now Melody goes into inventory briefly, and I want you to hear what she says about inventory, because that, again, friends, that pushes prices up or down depending on where demand is. So far we know she thinks prices are going to fall because demand's going to be low. She also now is predicting inventory is going to rise. Listen to this.
My contention is we have the inventory. We don't have affordable inventory, but a lot of the inventory was scooped up by institutional investors, short-term rental, mom and pop investors. And so I think as sort of the economy, starts to deteriorate, you're going to see that inventory continue to come to market. So I think a lot of people are going to be very surprised about the increases in inventory we'll see in the spring.
Did you catch what she said about inventory and investors? She thinks that institutional investors and even mom and pop investors like me are going to dump a ton of inventory on the market. She's thinking lower demand and higher inventory is going to crash home prices. In a normal world, that's correct. But the question is, how much inventory do we need to see any type of home price crash? Well, I'm glad you asked, because I'm going to show you where inventory was way back in 2011 and where it is now. So this page is again from the National Association of Realtors, and you can go to their website. It's linked in my description below. Way back in 2011, we had over 3 million active homes for sale. But then you can see what happened to inventory. It steadily went down. Year after year, it went down to the point where we're just over 1 million active listings today. Okay, so we know where inventory was and where it is now. We have less than half the number of homes for sale than we did back during the great financial crisis. Now let's take a look at demand, because remember, you got to have low demand and high active listings in order to crash prices. So right now in 2024, we're on track to have a record low number of home sales. Demand is completely crushed right now. So now we have the first part of the equation. We have demand being low. If it stays low, Melody could be correct, but she also needs a lot of inventory and she needs it fast in order for home prices to crash just in the next few months. But like we just looked at, we have a very low number of active listings for sale. So we're going to have to gain a ton of active listings really fast in order for Melody to be correct. But take a look at this. In order to have more active listings, you have to have a lot of new listings. And right now, we are struggling big time with new listings. In fact, according to Redfin, we're only up 3.7% versus last year. And last year, we had almost a record low number of new listings. So again, I ask you, we have a super low number of new listings coming to market. We have already a low number of active listings, but we do have low demand. So do you think Melody will be right, or will she be wrong? Let me know in the comments. How can you tell if home prices will crash or not in your market? Here are 2 indicators you can watch for. Now, what I'm showing you now is the Redfin data center. You can come here anytime. The link's in my description below, and this will help you track what's happening in your local market. On the right-hand side here, you can see that I can drop down into individual metro areas. At the top here, I can actually choose if it's a metro area or even county level. And so the first thing I'm going to show you is new listings. Again, nationally, we're at 3.7% above last year's number. Not near enough new listings to make prices crash. So you can come here anytime you want and find out what's happening with new listings. Now, the other thing I'm going to show you is active listings. So this chart is all about active listings. Again, you can come here, go to your metro on the right-hand side or the county level and take a look what's happening in your neck of the woods. As you can see right now, we're only at around 1 million active listings according to Redfin. And we're up just 16% from last year, which may seem like a lot, but we had a record low number of active listings over the past few years. So being up 16% isn't that big of a deal. And in fact, now it's starting to plummet, which isn't good if you're looking for a price crash. Now, looking at this data takes practice. And good news, I review this data live every Thursday at 11 a.m. In fact, here's the latest live I did right here. You should definitely check it out and join us on Thursdays at 11 a.m. where we interact as a community and take a look at what's happening with local and national housing markets. I hope to see you there.